Hello, everybody, and welcome to Music Industry Insights Worldwide. Today we've got Izzy with us. Hi, Izzy, how are you?
Hi Saskia, I'm doing well. Great to have you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Tell listeners a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and what you do.
Yes, so I'm a French and Chinese, and I currently live in Barcelona,
Yeah,
and I'm a holistic connector. I help artists and music professionals prevent burnout and live a healthier life.
that's so great. And how did you get into the music industry?
So I started back in the 2000, early 2000, and I was living in Paris and I helped grassroots projects of my friends. Some were creating labels, some were artists. I organized small events, and then I joined Technopol, who organizes a techno parade. And little by little, yes, I tried a bit of everything until 2011 in Barcelona. I started my artist management agency and I got a burnout.
As we do. Burnout is really, really important in the music industry now. It's about looking after your mental health, but also not doing too much. So, how do you balance the two?
So now I do less. I learned to have healthy boundaries and
Yeah.
to also for each project that comes my way, I will ask myself and listen to what my intuition says energetically if it's a go or no go.
Okay. That's really important. Now, for me, I'm a go, go, go. And sometimes I say no, no, no. But we find that balance where we always want to go. We're trying to make it, we're trying to, improve, progress, and develop. But where do we find these boundaries? Because that's so important, Izzy.
Yes, so it's a matter of connecting with ourselves. So awareness is the first step.
Yeah.
Knowing our energy, how we are when we perform at our best, and also seeing the signs when we are taking on too much. So, like if we are have too much stress, or like we have sleepless nights, too many in a row, that can be a warning sign, for example.
Yeah, but also we have different kind of conflicts in the industry. We've got competition, we've got people that don't like you. We've also got people that want to control the narrative, which I'm learning along the way. And some of it's not always straightforward as what people would think it would be. Okay, you're good at what you do, you're going to be successful. There's a lot of people that are going to come in the way, disrupt that, and also try and make you not that person you want to be. How can you deal with that?
Well, my understanding is that what's happening in the outside also resonates with how we feel in the
Yeah.
inside. And so when we've managed to be in peace with ourselves and knowing our direction and our mission and our values, then it makes everything clearer
Yeah.
in terms of what's the noise and what's
Us.
resonating with us.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And thanks for sharing that with us. And I think it's about, being authentic, but also being understanding and open to change. Now, how do you think the industry is open to change?
Well, be, it is an industry that's always in movement, and as much as we say we're like follow creating new trends and putting the avant-garde, etc. It's true that depending on who we are talking to, there can be also like some traditions that are anchored and so it's a matter of finding our allies and I'd say go for the first round of allies who will then spread it and spread it and spread it.
Okay, but we've also found with the United States, the United Kingdom, that was our biggest ally, but the United Kingdom doesn't always stand with the United States. Then we stand on our own. But where do we find our own uniqueness and an identity without following some other trend or some other country or some other identity? Because I think that's extremely important, especially in Britain.
So are you talking about uniqueness in
You said
the on the creative side?
absolutely, yeah.
Yes. So I recommend to dive in what makes you unique.
Uh-huh.
What is it that sparks light and a little flame in you, and what makes you really happy and clicks and just go all the way on that.
That's so beautiful, Izzy, and thanks for sharing that with us. And tell us a little bit more. Where are you from? What inspired you to be in music, and why?
So I always loved music. When I was a kid, my dad would play the organ,
Yeah,
and uh,
instrument, beautiful.
and I would listen to Bach music, and I loved that music when I was a kid, and then little by little it evolved, and I discovered electronic music with Jean-Michel Jarre because I'm French, and also Vangelis and Brian Eno and Pink Floyd, and then I discovered clubbing when I was in my 18, 20. I was in Germany and I would go out, and I loved the way
Uh,
the club is just a place to be yourself, and I would just go on my own and mix with people. And I don't know what's your own experience with clubbing, but there is this thing that going out to dance is just like a way to be yourself. There's no more like playing roles or anything.
exactly. For me, it was Izzy. It was about being free, being connected, but also fitting into different communities and collaborating, just getting on. And it wasn't about just my community, it was about us all on a dance floor, getting on and enjoying something that we loved. And I think we've forgotten that these days, especially in the United Kingdom. Europe's okay, America's they're doing great, but the United Kingdom, we're stuck in this little rut right now. We don't know where we sit, and it's so annoying because I think that damages us as a culture, right?
Yes, what I understood is that in the UK there are many clubs and venues which are
Yeah,
closing and
yeah,
being shut down,
yeah.
and so now there is like a back to grassroots projects, and maybe that will be the salvation.
Yeah, well, they always say whatever grows must die, and what dies, great things grow from the things that die. It's like an evolution of life. You know what I mean? And it's like genres as well. They have a cycle, but when they grow, they die, and they grow and they die, but they don't last forever. And what we need to remember is who is spearheading those movements, because that's really important too, right?
Yes, definitely. And also, there is room for evolution, and it always go by cycles because we've noticed recently that many artists they produce remixes of the anthems of 30 years old,
Yeah,
30 years ago.
they do.
So, like, yeah, like, what is really new? That's a big question.
Find out the real people from the people that just want to say they're somebody, but not necessarily the person they say they are, because there's a lot of that as well. Because we've got like creative arts and we've got music, and some of them combine and some of them mix. But I think nowadays we're looking more for authenticity rather than an act. How do you think that works?
Yes, I think that music has always been healing, and art and is there to heal the people.
Uplift
And
and uplift people.
exactly, and beyond just the musical side and the creative side, I think that artists do have a responsibility to bring positivity
Yeah.
to the people and to their fans.
Yes, every single time we turn the telly on, I see bad news. I see things that people are not getting on. There's wars, there's tragedy, there's politics. I even went to church yesterday. We was talking about politics. I was like, I'm not coming to church to talk about politics. I'm coming to church to heal, to relax, to rejuvenate. Please don't feed me any more politics.
Yes, for sure.
How do you think that's intertwined now with music? I see a lot of people in music that have political education. Do you think music and politics are intertwined now?
I think that music has always had a message to bring everyone together and and to defend the right of the people to be themselves and to have the best life possible.
So how has that done that for you? How has that helped you, Izzy? And how has that spurred you on to where you are right now?
Well, for me, music it's been helping me since I was young.
Yeah,
I remember when I was a teenager, I struggled with a lot of anxiety and also I had issues with my mother,
so
and we weren't going along. And I would just go to my room and listen to music, listen to music, listen to music, and that was just
yeah,
like comforting me.
yeah, it's your escapism, isn't it? And I think sometimes music is escapism from the reality in which we live. But we're also trying to get away. We're trying to tell a story from the world we live into the world we want to be in, right? How important has that been for you, Izzy, and where you are right now, and being yourself and healing?
Yes. So I believe that music is a way to reconnect with oneself
And
and
community.
also to connect with like-minded people.
Yes.
And last weekend I went out to see Sven Vet, who was
Oh, nice.
DJing here in Barcelona, and
Wow.
it was just like, thank you so much
Yeah.
to to be a master DJ, just sharing, spreading the beautiful music, and everyone was having a good time, and everyone is just like vibing, and it's just community.
And,
Yeah, when I think of music, I think community.
and energy. People are on the same frequency. I think a lot of people talk about community, but is everyone on the same page? No, they're not. When they go to a festival or they go to a conference or they go to that same artist, they're on the same level, the same wavelength, the same page. How do you find that?
Yes, definitely. I mean, like sharing the love of music. Like I, one my best friends, their music. I met them through music.
Yes. And like I met you through music, right? We all meet the great people. We've got the same things in common. We might not have the same values, but we love the same things. That's what draws us together. How can we bring people together, regardless of community, culture, race, ethnicity, gender? It's music, it's a power of medicine. How important has that been for you?
Yeah, that is essential. There's like this little graphic which represents the character in Chinese for music, and
Yes,
then the character for medicine.
yes.
And the medicine is the character for music with a little thing on the top that represent plants.
I call it the soul of the medicine for the soul. Music helps me to understand myself, but also gives me an identity, and it's tribal. I think music's gone way back to being tribal, right? Beginning, it was all about tribes and understanding and language and communication. How do you find that's going for you, your race, and your identity right now?
Mm, I feel very connected to like the drumming, and so I love drum and bass,
Yes.
and because it has this effect of
So
massaging our bodies, and I think this goes to back to ancient times where we could feel like the drumming in ancient tribes.
I
So
love I love tribal bath. I love sound baths. I love tribal music. I love meditation. I like spiritual music. I love classical music. In fact, I love all types of music actually. If I learn to appreciate it in the right way at the right time. Do you think that's right for you too?
yes, there's always a good sound for each moment.
Right. And I think it's about memory and collaboration and connection. So do you think your music has connected you on a global scale with lots of other artists and collaborators?
I'd say that thanks to music, I've met people from all around the world, and that's so significant because when I was a kid, before the internet, I was saying, "Oh, when I grow up, I want to be worldly renowned."
But you
And
are. But you are. Even now. You are.
and then I met DJs who were traveling around the world, and I felt that I felt very connected because I grew up abroad. The first 8 years of my life, I lived in China and then in San Francisco in the USA,
Mm.
and then we went back to France. And so I was having this. My identity is being from planet Earth, and in my early 20s, there were not so many people who were also traveling so often. However, when I met the international DJs, then I felt like we were on the same wavelength.
China is massive. China is leading the way right now, especially in music, but you have to get a foot in the door before you can even get anywhere. And understand the platforms, Izzy, because I've understood this all different over there, which I love. But it's also about building those connections on the ground, building those networks that people get you, they like you, they appreciate you. How do you think important that is now, especially with this, that, East-West divide that we've always had going on? It's the East versus the West. I don't believe in any of that. I believe in people. I forget about politics. But
Yeah, so I don't believe in being against. I think in the end it's like the yin and the yang, you
yeah,
know? And
we're
so
all
in
that.
the yin there is yang, and in the yang there's yin. And uh and uh there is some people have interest to make people be fighting against each other. However, when we can think beyond this, we realize that we are all human beings, and that we have a same goal, is that to live the best life possible.
Outside the box. Music industry says we want forward thinking people. We want people outside the box. We want outspoken people. But once you become those kind of people, the people don't want to know you because you're too outspoken, you're too original, you're too real, you're talking too much, you're talking about your own priorities. How have you dealt with that, navigated that in your career?
Yeah, when I was younger, I felt like I was disturbing because I've always been a pioneer
Yeah,
and avant-gardist, and I was there always too early, and that would be creating a few frictions.
disruption.
And I made myself small until I imploded, and so my burnout was also a kind of a mental health crisis, being like, okay, where is my
Where,
place?
where am I as a person? And how do I care about myself? Because I think a lot of us give a lot to community. We want to build community. We care so much about community, but sometimes we need them to be there for us, right? And it's about
Totally.
ground.
Yes, so part of being becoming more mature and more wise is to understand what are our needs and our preferences and communicating them to the people.
That's so beautiful, Izzy. And how can people connect with you? They want to collaborate, they want to find out more about your work. How could they do that?
Sure, so you can find me on the internet. I have a website. It's izzyknowwellbeing.com.
Also,
And then on Instagram, it's izzyknow.wellbeing. And I also have myself a podcast called Shots of Flow, which you can find on Substack.
okay.
And there's also an Instagram account, which is Shots of Flow.
I'm sure you've left me all the links. I'll leave them in the description below once the interview is out. I want to say thank you so much for your time, your energy, your expertise, and your story, because it's absolutely mind blowing and you're amazing at what you do. Let's put it that way, especially in Europe. I read a report on the European Union and music in 2025 from the IFPI. I was very impressed. But I've noticed how they've clumped all the 27 communities together, which is kind of like, okay, I get it. They do that sometimes with the data to make it more impactful. How can we make sure that people stay equal, level-headed, realistic, and can build a future in the music industry? What's your advice?
Yeah, I think what people need to work on is staying authentic and sticking to their values, and also look at their interest as well as the interest of the community as a
Outside
whole.
me, yeah. Yeah, because I think sometimes we understand that women are underrepresented, but also women need to give space to other underrepresented groups. And I'm not just putting it on women here, I'm putting a lot on men as well, because I think a lot of men expect that slice to come out of a woman's cake, when I think it should come out of the men's slice of the cake. So if we want gender representation, it's be 50-50. What about gender minorities? We talk about key change, 50-50. And a lot of people say to me, okay, we've got the 50-50. What about gender minorities? What about trans? What about non-binary? Because they're not included. That doesn't come out of the women's space. That should come out of the men's space, right? Because I think
Mm.
we've always been underrepresented. So it's about being equal, being fair, but proportional, right? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we need to communicate more about diversity and integrating and making everyone be part of the game and recognizing the uniqueness of each of the different type of populations for sure.
Collaboration and networking and doing what we're doing now, building meaningful relationships. This industry is about relationships, right?
Yeah.
Good or bad. And some people are going to talk bad about you, some people are going to talk nice about you, and not everyone's going to appreciate what you got to bring to the table. But as long as you're staying real, you're staying authentic, you're being polite, and you're respectful, what can really go wrong, Izzy?
Yes. In the end, what's the most important is that you can look at yourself in the mirror.
Yes. And then sometimes I even struggle with that because I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting fat. Oh my God, I'm getting old. Oh my God, this. You know what I mean? I think we all do it. But I think when you're under scrutiny and you're trying to build something for a community, it's about authenticity, relationship building, and just being that beacon of hope, for, underrepresented groups like yourself, like trans women, that are trying to make it an industry that is not built for us. It's male dominated, cis white men, which I understand. And I'm not talking about cis white men are bad, but if they can open their hearts and minds to understand where we're coming from and the struggles we face, it might be a bit easier for us.
Yeah, so it's a matter of having more visibility.
Yeah, absolutely. And all the work you're doing, it's been super fantastic. You're doing loads of work. You're focused on mental health. How important is mental health right now in the music industry? Because I think it's extremely important.
I think it's an essential foundation for anyone's career
Uh-huh. Why do you think that is?
because when the health is not going, nothing is going.
Well, it's not just about health. What about the infrastructure? What about the things that are built around it? And what about the infrastructure? If there isn't any, what do you expect from artists that have no how or no support or no financial backing? Do you expect them to be healthy and thriving?
Yeah, now there are more and more charities that are helping,
Right.
and I understood that a few days ago, MITC, which is a collective for music industry therapists. They became a charity, a nonprofit, and so then that means that they can help more artists and then it's at all levels of the industries. We need people to get involved regarding health, mental health, and not only mental health,
Yeah,
health at all levels, so
therapy.
that
We got,
that the artists and professionals get support.
we got doctors, we got therapists, we got nurses, we got people that work alongside us, we got support workers. Like the music industry isn't the be all and end all of our lives. So I think sometimes the music industry is like a step in and be the be all and end all when actually they're just a part of our life rather than all of our lives. Do you know what I mean? So how do you think that works?
Yeah,
Mm.
we need more education and more programs and more people behind which are backing up financially for programs.
And what we're lacking is real lived experience, people that have actually lived a life more than 10 years. That's what you call an expert. 10 or 15 years is what you call an expert. But also in the industry, but also being a parent and being a grandparent of and I'm being a multiracial trans woman. I've got so much intersections to bring. However, some of those other underrepresented groups are not going to allow it because they know I intersect across all these different sections and I could connect with so many different people. They just don't want to allow that to happen. What's your advice to people like that?
Yeah, I believe that step by step finding the right allies who will then
Open the
open open you up to people in the same vibe.
yes, and that's absolutely fantastic. So if anyone's, we've already got your contacts. If there's any major wins or successes you want to share with us, how could you do that with us, Izzy?
Excuse me, I didn't get the question.
Any major wins or successes you want to share with us? We've got 1 minute left. 1 minute.
Yes, so I will be at IMS in 1 month, and if you're there in Ibiza,
I'm
I look
there.
forward to meeting you there.
I didn't get invited this time. That was only last time. I've got other ones to go to. I've got loads this year. I'm very fully booked.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
and how about ADE?
No, I won't be at that one either. I didn't get invited to anything that's to do with ADE, unfortunately.
Okay, okay.
Not
Hmm.
this year.
And in the UK,
In,
are you in some events?
in the United States, in Canada, in Europe, and anywhere else, as long as it's not with those trade bodies, any of the ones that are aligned with the UK, I'll be there. There's certain people trying to shut me down, so we just work with the flow. We just go with it. Some people don't like me, some people want to shut me down, but it's all good. I don't mind. Where there's a will, there's always a way. Is he?
Yes, for sure. Thank you for your work.
And thank you for your work. It's been amazing. I just want to say thanks. We've got 30 seconds left. I just want to say all the best and thank you so much for coming on the show. You've been amazing. So I'm late and sorry. I'm just having a real raw conversation and you've been one of the best.
Yes, for sure. Keep it real.
Oh, always, always and forever. Eternal song. Love it. Thanks.